Hello, my friend. My name is Tessa Fyffe, and I help you thrive with your hidden disability so that you can create your wellness and create your freedom. On this video, which I've entitled 3 Ways to Pay Off Your Debts, I came across this amazing financial commentator, and his name is Dave Ramsey. You might have heard of him before. He's brilliant, and he's dedicated his life's work, almost, the best part of 4 decades, just helping people, educating people, helping them to get out of debt, and also educating them financially so they can be living a life of freedom, really, financially. Anyway, have you ever thought it's a new year, or it's a new month, or it's a new stage in my life, and I just really want to grapple with this issue of my debt? Where do I start? Well, this video is for you. Now, Dave Ramsey has put together, so much information on how to really understand your finances, financial education, and in terms of getting out of debt, he's got this great method. I'm going to talk about 3 parts of that method today. It's known as the debt snowball method, so maybe you've come across it before. I hadn't before, and then I just started to read more about him, and he's brilliant. So I thought I would share because it might help you. Okay, so the first step of these 3 steps is to get yourself on what he calls a zero-based budget. A zero-based budget. This is very simple, but it's also really quite genius. And you'll be surprised, not everybody does that. Do you work from a budget? Not everyone has a really tight, locked down budget, yeah? So the guidance he gives is that creating a zero-based budget simply means making sure that your income minus your expenses equals 0, okay? So every pound that is coming in has a job to do, and you allocate it in that way. And that way you can really start to control your money, where it's going, how much of it left you have before the end of the month, at the middle of the month, the beginning of the month, how much you can put aside for specific activities. And then you get to track all of your transactions. So this video isn't a how-to, but just as a guide. If you do Google Dave Ramsey, which I encourage you to do, you'll see much more of this. But just as a guide, having a zero-based budget, you know what your key utilities and bills and direct debits are coming out, and you want to calculate those right down to the last penny. You want to put money aside for maybe you have annual subscriptions, or maybe things to do with your business that pop up at different times in the year. You want to have a little pot for that. You might think about putting money aside for your car maintenance, all those other little extras. But in essence, you want to also have a little pot that's going to be for money that you can take away from what's left to put towards your debts. Like I said, this isn't a how-to video. This is a sort of what video and where to go for info video. But starting off with a zero-based budget, it's very simple, but it's very powerful. And that way you know exactly what's happening, what's coming in, and what's going out, and more importantly, how much you have available to do certain things. Yeah. So, for example, how much do you have available for your food for the month? And when you go shopping for your food for the month, are you taking it just from that pot, or are you taking it from, like wherever, or just whatever's in there? So really getting to grips with that and knowing that. All right. The second tip is, he says, to start off, and it's interesting, to start off with building up an emergency fund of cash, right? And this is $1,000, I'll say £1,000, building up your emergency fund. And what is this for? Well, basically, this is to stop you having to use your credit card if something comes up that you haven't planned for. You know, something happening with your car, maybe some repair that you have to make indoors, maybe something breaks, you have to replace it. Maybe, you know, you just want to have money there so that if there's a really important opportunity for you to go on a course, but you need to pay for it then and there, you know, how much better would it be to have a pot of money just for that, rather than going to use your credit card? So he calls that the emergency fund. And you want to build up an emergency fund of £1,000 to start off with. And that's the first thing you do before you even start paying off any of your debts, which I thought was very clever. And then the third step is you start paying your debts in order of their size, right? So you're going to start with the smallest one, not in order of interest rates, but in terms of the smallest one. So list all of your debts from the smallest to the largest, yeah? Pay minimum payments on everything else and just focus on the smallest one. Now, on the smallest one, you have to go at it. You have to have that mindset of attacking this debt, right? So not just figuring out how much you can afford to take out of what's left after you've paid everything at the end of the month to put towards your debt, but also bringing in other income. What can you sell? I mean, the mindset is get out of debt, get out of debt. You have to put your energies into it. So what can you let go? What can you sell? How many designer handbags do you have from way back when that are still in your wardrobe that you really, you know, that you're just holding on to them for, I don't know, you're just getting a little bit too emotionally attached. Do you really need it? Could you get 100 quid off of that, which you can put towards your debt? What else can you do? Look at how you can get some extra income in. Maybe you're looking for ideas for a side hustle, you know, that you can do alongside your existing work commitments to bring in some extra money. Think of what you can do, and just do everything you can until that's paid off. And now, once that smallest debt is paid off, you then roll over what the amount of money that you were paying towards that, roll it over into the second biggest debt, okay? And then you put all that money into that, and then everything else you're paying minimum amounts, and you just keep doing this. And this is what he calls the debt snowball method, which I think is genius, actually. And, you know, a little bit different to what a lot of people say, but, you know, don't take my word for it. You can always research Dave Ramsey, check out his videos and the millions and millions of people that he has helped. He also has something called a Financial Peace University, which again I think is brilliant, because there are so many of us, you know, who did not learn about managing debt or money education at school. And you've sort of stumbled into life and you've done the best that you can, and you've had student loans thrown at you, you know, professional studies loans thrown at you, and credit cards galore, and you're sort of there thinking, oh my goodness. So really great stuff from him. So there we go. Those are the 3 ways for you to start paying off your debts. Number 1 is getting a zero-based budget. We talked about that. Number 2 is your emergency fund of £1,000. And number 3 is you start paying your debts, but from the smallest going upwards. and we talked about that. I hope you found this interesting. Comment down below and let me know what was your number one takeaway. Comment down below, let me know what was your number one takeaway. And if you are looking out for side hustles or projects or businesses where you can generate some extra income, then do take a look at my free business information pack, which you can download at tessafyffe.com/info pack, tessafyffe.com/info pack. And there's a great business model that you can check out and see if that's something that you could do, you know, to help bring in some extra income. Okay. My name is Tessa Fyffe. I'm sending you my light and my love, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.